and for today's vlog, we are going to talk about fallacies, and it's 5 examples that I found in social media, specifically in Facebook. So without further ado, let's get started.
2,000 years later.
Let us define first what is fallacy. Do you know that fallacy is a kind of error in reasoning? It may be created unintentionally or intentionally in order to deceive other people and to win in an argument. They are also disguised as reasonable claims for one's conclusion to be justified.
Paano masabi?
The first post is this. This is one of the example of an ad hominem fallacy, or what we call against the person fallacy. So first, let us define ad hominem fallacy. This is when you attack your opponent rather than dealing with their arguments. So as we can see here in this meme, that each person are attacking each other rather than dealing with their arguments by asking what do they contribute specifically in their country. Well, not because you don't have the capacity and ability to pay taxes or in short to contribute in your country doesn't mean you don't have the right to complain and protest about the incompetence of the government, because every one of us has the right to speak up. The second post is this. This post can be recognized as an appeal to force fallacy. Appeal to force fallacy is an argument where force or the threat of force is given for one's conclusion to be justified. As a result, the reader will be convinced to accept their conclusion due to fear and conviction. This post is an example of appeal to force fallacy because it's forcing you to share the picture for you not to have bad luck for 3 days. What? But it doesn't really have a control in your life because it is you who will decide for your destiny and on what will happen to you at the end of the day. The third post is this. This post can be recognized as an appeal to people fallacy. Appeal to people fallacy is the fallacy that assumes something is true, right, or good just because someone who is popular agrees with it in order for the people to be convinced to believe in their argument. We know that Lee Min-ho and Catherine Bernardo has many fans here in the Philippines. So as we observe this post, this is an example of an appeal to people fallacy. Why? Because it occurs with famous celebrities like Lee Min-ho and Catherine Bernardo. The Lazada company uses Lee Min-ho and Catherine Bernardo to advertise their company, and it will be easy for them to convince the people to buy their products. But on the contrary, we must be aware because this fallacy is complicated. Because popularity is not enough to make and believe something that it is true. Popularity does not necessarily indicate something is true. The fourth post is this. This kind of statement is an example of slippery slope fallacy. Slippery slope fallacy occurs when someone argues without providing enough evidence that a certain action or proposition will ultimately lead to some undesirable consequences. Here, if we observe the statement given, it is already predicting some possible events or situations that might happen in someone's life if they lost their pens, without certitude and confidence that it will really happen in reality. The fifth post is this. This kind of meme is what we call the red herring fallacy. Red herring fallacy is a distraction from the argument, typically when some sentiment that seems to be relevant but isn't really on topic. This strategy is common when someone doesn't like the current topic and wants to change into something else instead. This is an appropriate example of red herring fallacy. since the dismissal of Vice President Leni Robredo as the co-chair of Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs has drawn away the attention of the public from the issues of the Philippines hosting the 2019 Southeast Asian Games. Before we end this vlog, I'm going to answer 3 questions that will pop up here. The common characteristics of the social media posts I have chosen are they are interesting and they are subjects and topics that really matters. While the disadvantages of social media is that it reduces family's closeness, it causes distractions, it spreads fake news sometimes, it facilitates laziness and increases the toxicity of the people. The advantages of social media is that it helps us to connect and communicate with other people worldwide, and it also helps us on making money through online businesses, and it also a kind of entertainment where we can enjoy, and it is also a platform where we gain informations such as daily news. My message to those keyboard warriors is that don't bring every situation into an end and don't make it more complicated, because every process should be done with a right manner and the right procedure. And always think before you click for you not to regret anything at the end of the day. And last but not the least, don't attack unless you evaluate and you already analyze the argument itself. That's all for today. Thank you and God bless.